Hi there, welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Denny Bowman. Well, there were plenty of questions coming into this wrestling season, including would there even be a season? The COVID pandemic was still going strong, and there was little to no off-season training or competition due to COVID, and social distancing wasn't even really an option on the wrestling mat. Many were skeptical they could pull off a wrestling season, but in October, the Iowa High School Athletic Association announced there would be a season with some recommended safety protocols. Wrestlers are in direct contact with one another nearly all the time, whether in practice or in competition.
I was nervous. I mean, we were all nervous. Just the nature of the sport. There is no way to socially distance, you know.
Coaches did adjust wrestling room practices to 4-player pods to help reduce widespread outbreaks and assist in contact tracing.
They kind of just told us, you know, anything can happen at this point in the season, you know. We could get shut down, so, you know, just coming in here and making every day count, you know, trying to get better.
Our coaches and everyone said go into it with a mindset like could be your last time wrestling ever. That could be it. And you go in, give it your all every match, and enjoy everyone you have.
The Tigers hosted the annual Keith Young Invitational by reducing the total number of teams from 16 to 8 to better improve distancing guidelines within the gym and high school. Sophomore Kane Shimp pinned Norwalk's Jacob McKenzie in 37 seconds to finish the day 4-0, claiming the crown at 113 pounds on the socially distanced makeshift podium. At 138, Dylan Witt went 2-1 for the day, but lost a 2-1 decision to Isaac Schimmels of Denver to get second place. Riley Barnett lost a 3-1 decision to eventual state champion Carson Tenold of Don Bosco to finish second on the day after winning his first 2 matches at 182. Ben Bowman beat 2020 state qualifier Jason Kritzler of Norwalk in his first match, but lost the championship match to Bosco's Charlie Hogan 3-1, finishing second at 195. At 120, Logan Vallejo rolled to an 8-1 decision over Ben Holton of Hudson for third place. Next up, the Tigers traveled crosstown to Columbus High School for the annual Metro Wrestling Duels the following Monday, with the traveling trophy on the line. The Tigers claimed this trophy in 2019 and had no plans to let anyone else take it from their trophy case. Cedar Falls opened the night with a big win against the host Columbus Sailors, 54-24. One of the key matches for the evening came at 145 pounds, as the Tigers' Dylan Witt moved up to wrestle at 145 state qualifier Sam Hackett. Witt finished this one off early with a pin at 349 to propel Cedar Falls to the big win. Cedar Falls received 7 forfeits and another big pin from 106-pounder Carter Fadega just 38 seconds into the first period. In the second duel, Cedar Falls dominated the West Wahawks 62-16. One of the key matches of this duel featured 145-pounder Connor McCartan. Connor got the third period fall as he battled into the third period before capturing the pin.
And he gets it.
Landon Shaw followed that up with another big win at 152.
We'll try to turn him over again.
Now this is a different story altogether.
Then it was Henry Cohen winning impressively with a 13-0 major decision, followed by Carson Cross winning a tight battle at 132 in the last varsity match of the duel. The final duel of the evening matched the undefeated Tigers with the East High Trojans, who had also won their first 2 duels of the evening. With the trophy on the line, the key match in this one was at 152 pounds. Landon Shaw of Cedar Falls and Caden Herman of Waterloo East.
There it is.
Herman scored late in this one to win the battle 8-7.
Incredibly unhappy about that call.
After back-to-back pins for East at 160 and 170 pounds, the Tigers trailed 15-6. At 182, Riley Barnett dominated the Trojans' Eli Salas on his way to a major decision, 11-1. At 195 pounds, Ben Bowman pinned East's Lawrence Taylor in the second period at 327.
Bowman's in really good shape. He's about ready to get a pin. It's super close, and the referee slaps the mat on this and that.
Will Doyle came up with a big pin at heavyweight as the momentum swung to the Tigers.
There we go.
Yeah.
Carter Fadega got his second pin of the night in just 34 seconds as he moved up to 113 pounds to wrestle Landon Foote. Kane Shemp and Henry Cohen both secured second period pins as Cedarfold rolled past Waterloo East 55-18, claiming the Metro hardware for the second straight season. December casualties from COVID included cancellations of 3 MVC dual meets with Cedar Rapids Prairie, Iowa City High, and Linmar, and the Battle of Waterloo 2-day dual tournament cancellation. But the Tigers did land a duel at the number 7 ranked Ankeny Hawks, scheduled on short notice.
We were scheduling things a week in advance. It's not how we wanted to do it, but that's how everybody was doing it, So the biggest thing is we wanted to get some opportunities for the kids.
Iowa Wrestle just came out and said they were number 7, and me and Dylan were getting the boys hyped because we were going to upset them.
The duel started at 182 pounds with a key match featuring 5th-ranked Riley Barnett and Ankeny's Cade Benetham.
And I wrestled him last year, I believe, and I beat him, but it was a pretty close match, so I was just thinking all the things I remember from last year. And
Benetham would eventually finish the season 4th place on the podium at state at 182 pounds, but this night belonged to Barnett.
To get the early on win, to get us started and get the flow going, momentum going. And it just started off well, and then we had Bowman going. And
at 195 pounds, Ben Bowman entered the newly published December 15th Iowa Wrestle Rankings at number 11. Bowman followed Barnett's win with a tough match against Jackson Penningroth at 195. This low-scoring match went to the Ultimate Tiebreakers' 3rd overtime period, with Bowman securing a late takedown to clinch it, 6-3.
Upper body, now Ben's able to sprawl around. He's going to get a late takedown.
Heavyweight Will Doyle got a big pin for the Tigers in the second period. At 113, Kane Shemp scored an impressive 4-0 victory over 2021 state qualifier at 113 pounds, J.J. Mahon. At 126, Connor Doyle earned a spot in the lineup and was rewarded by getting to wrestle the eventual 4th place finisher on the podium at 126 at state. Doyle's job was to battle and do whatever it could to go the distance in this one, and he did just that, losing the match 12-1, but not giving up 6 points with a pin.
And that's what our coaches are always telling us, just to fight and good things will happen. And he did that. He went up against a pretty high-ranked kid, saved us a couple points, which was really good, and it showed me that he wanted to win and he wanted to be on the team, and showed us all that we can hang in there with all the top guys.
I told him, I said, hey, you realize that match won the duel, right? And he's like, really? And I said, yeah. We won by 2 points, right? And you didn't get pinned. That would have been 2 points, and they'd have won on criteria.
Henry Cohen followed that with a big decision at 132, winning 11-6. At 138, Dylan Witt moved to number 3 in the Iowa Wrestle Top 12. He took care of business.
Oh, this is not going to last long, folks. Witt's got this tight. Puczynski in a world of hurt. There it is.
At 145 pounds, Connor McCartan entered the Iowa Wrestle Rankings at number 11. McCartan was impressive. After an apparent pin was waved off at the end of a period, McCartan earned a major decision, 12-2. 152-pounder Landon Shull pinned Cole Lansing in 140.
Oh, nice trip. Oh, beautiful move. The trip and the roll for Shaw. And the throw, Shaw has Lansing on his back. Just a beautiful move, and it's a fall for Landon.
The Tigers clinched the duel, going on to upset the number 7th ranked Ankeny Hawks in the Hawks' Nest, 34-32.
So yeah, it was a good win for us. I think those are the teams that we need to start competing with and on a regular basis and beating those teams if we, to take the next step as a program.
In spite of all the December cancellations, the Tigers did find another replacement on the Saturday just before winter break at the Independence Duels, giving CF the opportunity to wrestle 5 duel matches. Ben Bowman finished the day 5-0 with 4 pins and spent the most time wearing the coveted plastic bottle ring pin crown, passed from CF wrestler to CF wrestler with each new pin.
It was the pin chain. Everyone would kind of hype you up, and you'd come off the mat and be like, yep, give it here. I'm taking that.
Kyle Campbell earned 3 wins for the Tigers at 160 pounds, and brother Drew Campbell got 2 big wins on the day, including 1 major decision. Number 3 ranked Dylan Witt went 2-1 on the day, losing to eventual 2A state champion Isaiah Weber from Independence. But he injured his knee in the process and would miss at least the next month of the season. Sophomore 126-pounder Henry Cohen was injured in practice shortly after the Independence duels and would be lost for the remainder of the season with a knee injury.
Losing a guy like that, it's tough for your team, you know. I mean, he's a kid that just loves the sport and was having a great year, you know. And injuries have always been part of the sport. And but yeah, it's a big loss. I mean, it's a big loss. I feel bad for him more than anything, because this is what he loves to do. Adversity is part of sports. It's part of life, you know. And we had more than our fair share of adversity. You face adversity in this sport. You get put on your back, you know. You get put on your back. You got to get off your back, and you know. I always tell our kids is that if you think this is hard, which this is hard, wrestling's hard, but you're gonna go through a lot harder things in life, you know, and the things that you learn here are gonna hopefully help you get through those things later on, you know.
The Tigers' only home duel that was not canceled during the season was the first Thursday in January as Cedar Falls hosted the Wahlert Golden Eagles. 8 of the 14 matches were forfeits, leaving only 6 contested matches. Cedar Falls got big pins from Connor McCartan at 145.
This is just about over. This is not going to take long.
And Kyle Campbell at 160.
Well, he's got Nachman down, and there he is. A fall for Kyle Campbell.
And close decision victories from Zeke Wedgbury and Landon Shaw to flex the muscles enough for a 54-21 dual match victory.
Just use his quickness.
The Tigers paused all wrestling practices and competitions in mid-January due to COVID, canceling an MVC dual meet at Western Dubuque and withdrawing from competition in the Ed Winger Classic in Urbandale.
The situation with COVID, and there's a lot of adversity, you know, and even as an adult, I mean, we got to learn how to handle adversity better, you know. I do, and I think, but that's one thing that this sport will teach you, you know, is that adversity is going to happen, and how you deal with it is what matters.
The Mississippi Valley Conference made the decision to cancel the conference Super Meet Championships to create 2 weeks of mandatory downtime to prepare each team for district competition. However, the day before the 2-week downtime was to begin, Cedar Falls scheduled 2 duels in Iowa City versus Liberty and City High. Cedar Falls was not at full strength, but the opportunity to wrestle outweighed not being able to compete. Witt started the duel off with a quick fall at 138 in just 60 seconds. Then Aiden Hansen followed with a first period pin of his own as the Tigers jumped out to a 12-0 lead. 6th-ranked Riley Barnett continued to roll with a fall at 321, moving his record to 18-3. 8th-ranked Ben Bowman returned to the Tiger lineup after a nearly 3-week absence due to COVID in January against eventual state qualifier Vinny Lima.
Sitting out for 2 weeks with something that damages your lungs doesn't do you any good at all, but I took it as a challenge to be the best I can no matter the setbacks or anything in front of me.
After an early season injury, Drew Campbell fought his way back into the lineup and got a big 6-2 decision. And Carter Fadega and Braden Wiles got big wins by forfeit to give CF the dual victory. In the nightcap, Cedar Falls faced the Little Hawks in their home gym. Senior Landon Shaw started the night off with a fall at 61 seconds, pushing his record to 15-12 on the season. Kyle Campbell earned another 16 points at 160 after a quick start and an injury time decision. Riley Barnett entered the night ranked number 6 at 170, but wrestled up at 182 and registered a second period fall in 235. Ben Bowman had the tall task of wrestling last year's state champ at 160. Sophomore Ben Keeter, now ranked number 1 at 195 pounds, would go on to win the state championship in 2021 in that weight class. Keeter showed why he is now a 2-time state champion after just his sophomore season, getting the pin in 351. Drew Campbell got a huge fall at 220 in just 54 seconds. Connor Doyle added another first period pin at 126, and Dylan Witt took just 24 seconds to dismiss his competition. After the last match of the duel, it was tied at 39. After about 10 minutes of going through the tiebreaker criterias, on the 9th tiebreaker criteria, Iowa City High was awarded 1 point and got the win. For the Tigers, the District 8 competition was in Waverly.
When you get to districts, I say it's the start of a new season. Everybody's 0-0. it doesn't matter who you are and what you did during that season. Everybody's got a fresh slate.
Sophomore Kane Schimpf won his first match before losing to Caden Carnes of Waterloo West in the semifinals. Carnes would advance to state and finish 6th overall. Schimpf lost the third-place match 9-4. At 120 pounds, senior Logan Vallejo battled his way back in the consolation semifinals after a first-round upset. Vallejo finished with 2 wins to climb to 5th place on the district podium, finishing his senior season with a 14-7 record.
He just loved to be on the mat. He loved wrestling.
At 138, Dylan Witt pinned Nevin Pins of Western Dubuque. Witt then recorded a major decision over Waverly Shell Rock's Caden Langrick, 14-6, on his way to the District 8 crown.
In my finals match, I pretty much just dominated that match as well. So I felt pretty good leaving there and heading to the state tournament.
At 145, junior Connor McCartan won by fall in his first round match, then lost to state qualifier Josiah Schatzel of Hempstead in the semifinals. McCartan lost a wrestle-off to state qualifier Cooper Weeman of Mason City to end his season 3rd place on the district podium with a final record of 16-6. At 152, Landon Schaal got some revenge on Waterloo East's Caden Herman, who had beaten Schaal twice during the regular season in 2 competitive matches. Schaal countered Herman's shot and threw Herman to his back, recording the fall at 4:51 in the match.
I knew he was a really quick wrestler, and so I wanted to stay low, keep my hands low, and I knew he'd shoot, so I was waiting on him to shoot, and when he did, I took advantage of it.
He put him in that position to make him have to come after him, you know, by getting the lead and being aggressive and wrestling a really smart match. That's the biggest thing, wrestle a smart match.
Schaal lost in the championship match to the number 1 ranked Aiden Riggins of Waverly Shell Rock, but earned the runner-up position on the podium and a trip to state. At 160, junior Kyle Campbell drew a tough first-round match with Waverly's Sean Mwangi. Campbell wrestled his way back with a fall and a major decision to end in 5th place on the District 8 podium. Kyle Campbell finished the season 15-14 in his first season as a regular varsity starter. At 170, Riley Barnett headed to overtime, tied 1-1 with Eli Salas of Waterloo East.
Well, I know he's just as tired as me or even more, and I know my shots are good, and he's not going to shoot on me because he wasn't doing that the whole match because he knew I'd score on him. So I just said, once I see that leg, I'm going to drop down and be aggressive and grab it and fight for life to get the 2. And it happened, so it worked out pretty well.
Barnett recorded a thrilling match-ending takedown to win in sudden victory, 3-1, and went on to rise to the top of the 170-pound podium, earning a trip to state. Ben Bowman had a tough test at 195 pounds with 3 wrestlers all ranked in the top 10 in 2 polls, including 2 competitors in the top 4 of the Iowa Wrestle Poll. Bowman registered a 58-second pin over Waterloo East's Lawrence Taylor in the quarterfinals before a rematch with 4th-ranked Sawyer Nauman of Western Dubuque. Nauman held off Bowman's 3rd period rally and secured a 5-3 hard-fought decision.
I was disappointed, but I had another match to go, so I ended up wrestling in the Waterloo West kid.
Bowman moved to the 3rd-place match and easily pinned Drew Hundley of Waterloo West after jumping out to a 9-3 lead. Bowman started wrestling in just his sophomore season, making this his 3rd season as a varsity wrestler. He finished the season ranked 8th in the state with a 15-4 record, with 3 of the 4 losses coming to wrestlers who finished 1st and 4th at the state tournament.
The reason he came that far is because he's a hard worker and he's got a great attitude, you know. And if you have those 2 attributes, you can go far in this sport, you know. Really, he just ran out of time. And honestly, this is, again, it comes down to a draw. You put him in any other district, you'd probably at state tournament.
At 220, Drew Campbell had a semifinal loss to state qualifier Adam Ward of Hempstead. Campbell lost a close match to Western Dubuque's Mitch Ashland, finishing 4th on the district podium. At state wrestling in Des Moines, senior Landon Schaal had a rematch at 152 with the top-seeded Aiden Riggins from Waverly Shell Rock. Schaal battled, but Riggins proved to be too much. Riggins would go on to win the 2021 152-pound state championship and climb to number 20 in the national rankings.
I mean, I think Landon competed hard against them. 4-1 at the end of the first period. So, the kid's obviously really high level, one of the best kids in the country probably actually at his weight class. So, yeah, but I think, went out there and fought and never gave in.
After a consolation loss, Landon Shaw finished his senior season as a state qualifying wrestler with an 18-14 record, with 2 losses to the state champion at 152. 170-pound junior Riley Barnett entered the state tournament against the Ottumwa's Trevor Summers, who had won 43 of his 48 matches and been ranked as high as 9th during the regular season. Iowa Wrestle called this first-round matchup a toss-up. Barnett held a slim 2-1 lead well into the third period, but Summers came up with a late takedown to sneak out the win 3-2.
3 seconds left, he gets that 2, and then I was just kind of stunned that it just happened and lost my first round.
After registering a pin in the first match in the consolation bracket, Barnett moved on to face Andrew Reed of Southeast Polk. Reed advanced with a 5-3 win, ending Barnett's run at state.
So it's just gonna make me drive more and more until next year to get at the top of the podium.
But the good thing is, next year he can just go let it fly.
At 138 pounds, Dylan Witt entered the state tournament with just an 11-2 record, but ranked 6th in the state.
It wasn't my first rodeo, so I kind of knew.
Witt's first opponent was 12th ranked Gavin Wiseman of Fort Madison. This one went into the third period when Witt used his wrestling instincts to put him in a position to win.
I call it the Mark Hall roll. Mark Hall, shout out him from Penn State. He likes to do it a lot, but I've been playing with it a little bit in the practice room.
In the quarterfinals, Witt advanced with an 8-4 decision over Carroll's Carter Drake. In the semifinals, Witt matched up against second-ranked and second-seeded Cole Ferguson of Waukee, who was undefeated.
He came over from Illinois. He was in the Illinois big schools last year, so he's actually an Oklahoma commit.
Witt grabbed a 7-2 lead off a big move and held on for a 7-5 victory to earn a spot in the championship match versus top-seeded and top-ranked Hunter Garvin of Iowa City West.
My buddy Dylan Witt, his semifinal match was probably my favorite part of the season, was just watching him get that throw and that win and doing it for the city and getting to the finals.
As far as Dylan, I think it really gave him some respect around the state. I watched a couple things leading up to it of people making predictions, and nobody gave him a shot, And I was thinking, I guess I always think, hey, everybody's the same, anybody can be beat. And I didn't think it was a big upset. I really didn't.
In this championship match, Garvin jumped out to an early lead and kept the pressure on Cedar Falls' Dylan Witt. Garvin got Witt on his back in the third period and recorded the fall at the 5:10 mark in the match.
He showed me things I need to get better at and how good I need to be, to be at that level. So I thought it was a great match for me, especially this year. I got one more year, so.
Dylan Witt is the state runner-up at 138 pounds. With Witt's second-place finish, it gives the Tigers their highest individual state finish since 2015. The 3 Tiger seniors, Logan Vallejo, Landon Shaw, and Ben Bowman, led by example, showing hard work and fight in making them and the others around them better people and better wrestlers.
You want to push everyone around you to be better and improve the other guys around you so then they can become the best that they can in the future as well.
8 Tiger wrestlers received MVC All-Conference recognition, with 5 of the 8 All-Conference selected wrestlers returning next season for Cedar Falls.
I most enjoyed about this season was seeing these guys come in the room and get better, really, honestly.
Every single day, just looking up at that board while we're running laps in here just motivates me, looking at all the state champs and the previous state champs and then how long it's been since we've been at the caliber we want to be at. So it motivates us a ton, and we all want to get there. We want to have a bunch of people on that board a couple years from now, and it just motivates me every day looking at that.
I see us having a couple state champs in the near future, and I see our team making it to the team duels.
Next season, the Tigers will return a host of wrestlers with varsity experience, including 2 state qualifiers.
There's plenty to celebrate from this past season, including the very fact that this group even had the opportunity to wrestle. This team, more than ever, learned to appreciate even having the opportunity to practice, and they focused on making the most of each opportunity to wrestle. And that's a lesson we can all carry forward, even after this pandemic is far behind us. I'm Denny Bowman. Thanks for watching Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.